Hey, what is up, dudes and dudettes? This is Due Diligence here, and enough of memeing, let's actually talk about the stock itself. Today we're going to discuss the ticker symbol DWAC, or we can call it DWAC, or the what? Or we can just call it the Trump meme king stock that soared about 1,000% in 2 days. And just some clarification of why did I say 1,000% in 2 days? Because where's my pen here? Alright, boys, we all know that during a SPAC transaction, PIPE investors, who are basically the lockdown investors in the SPAC investment, their cost basis for the stocks is around $10, right? This is why a lot of people are saying that, you know, if any SPAC stock goes under $10, it's a buying point, because it will eventually go back to $10, you know, after the lock-in period ends and everything. So it is a $10 stock. And somehow news coming out, hey guys, merger is almost done. And then on this day, merger complete with Trump's subsidiary company. And guess what? From $10 all the way to $175. That is times 100. X. Okay, it's not even 10x. It's 17.5x. Okay, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Equivalent of 1,750%. Okay, this is just too much, guys. This is way too much. I mean, if we go back and look at SPAC history, right? What are some interesting SPACs that we talked about before, or you know, before our age, right? You know, we know Burger King, right? Burger King goes through a SPAC, and it took it what? I think it's Charlie Martin that does the deal, right? So QSR, it did it. Let's just do its justice, okay? 1 year. It took it 5 years to reach its absolute max at $80 when it started at 10, right? So then that's ridiculous. And if you go on Reddit and search for what's the most increase of a SPAC stock in history, it actually will look at this. Poonware. Guys, so about the end of 2019, it actually increased from $1 all the way to, let me show you this, okay? Let me show you this. It went from, this is ridiculous. It went from $1, well, technically it went from $10. It went from $10 to $550 in about 6 days. So if you think that Trump stocks, DWAC's gonna behave like Poon, then we're literally at about day 1 to day 2 here. But the thing is, if you're trying to do like a regression, blend everything in, we're probably on this day. So there might be still some room to run if there are people foaming in. But what is interesting is if we go back and look at the date in 2019, okay? I think this is January 10th, 2019. I need to 2019, we gotta go look at January 10th. Okay. So basically, usually the sudden movement ends in a option cycle, which in a weekly option cycle, it ends on a Friday. So any price movement that within this week will end probably around Friday, and Friday is January 11th, right? So this makes sense, okay? So if we use that same logic on DWAC, then that means is, hey, I think we're already at the end of a super smash bro runner-up of 1,000%. And I think it probably will stabilize a little bit around $90 to let people sort of like wiggle around a little bit, and it's gonna behave downwards all the way until it fills the gap. This is why on Discord and on Patreon, I told everyone stop foaming this thing. It's gonna go like this. And then eventually it's gonna fill the gap into this value. Why? Because here's the reason, okay? One of the reasons that you won't see a sudden super bang, boom, bam, boom movement is because PIPE investors' monies are locked, right? these pipe investors' money who invest $10, right? $10, they're basically, their price is $10, and you have like, you know, post pipe investors who are like, you know, Barclay or whatever, have a warranty at $11.5, basically option to buy $11.5. These guys can actually make money. These guys can exercise their option yesterday or on Friday, and then exercise them and sold them around $90. They will make about 9x return. But in reality, a lot of these SPAC stocks, they will go through like a very volatile range, and then sort of this 1,000% volatility upside already basically sucked away a lot of the vitality that we'll have in the future. Unless like Trump do something crazy and prove to the people that it can attract way more users than YouTube, or it can rob YouTube of half of its users. So basically the math looks like this, okay? So we can actually go look at how much this company would worth if we just look at how many people supported Trump. If we are assuming that the reason why this stock goes so high so much is because, you know, it has a correlation with Trump. So if we go like how many people actually voted for Trump in 2020. So basically you will see on 2020 there are 169 million voters, and you will have about 67% actually voted. Okay, there are a lot of people who register to vote but they never vote. So you will see this data also basically is congruent with you know, a lot of online polls and online data, and according to popular vote. And we can see percent voted for Trump 2020. So Trump got about 47% of the votes, okay? So 74 million people actually voted for Trump, okay? So right now, so how many people actually voted? 169 times 0.67, that's about 113-ish, 113 million. Let's just look at the calculator. 169 times 0.67 equals 130. Yeah, there you go. I told you I'm right. And then about, you know, about Trump supporters are around, let's just say 75 million. Okay, let's do an overestimate a little bit. So definitely there are 75 million people that is willing to basically go revolve the earth around Trump. If Trump have some interesting plans or whatever, they will probably keep on board. And, you know, those are, let's just say this is the initial viewer base. Let's just say, you know, 90% of these people are not old people, okay? Because old people actually don't really watch that much YouTube. A lot of the YouTube population, if you look at YouTube demographics, you will know that the extreme old people, what I mean by extreme old people, right? You have old people who are somewhere around, you know, over 58, who are 58 plus. Those people are the ESPN people, right? ESPN people. I'm assuming like all of them watch sports and everything, and they don't really use Disney Plus unless their grandkids coming or their kids coming, right? They watch like regular TV, okay? These people watch regular TV, and those people don't use YouTube, not YouTube material, okay? Those people are not YouTube materials. So let's just assume there's only 10% of that are those people. So we minus those people, then we do 75 times 0.9 equals to 67.5? Yeah, sounds about right. So there are 67.5 million people, which actually coincidentally equals to 10% of all US population. Isn't that funny? So let's just say 10% of all US population were willing to watch Trump. Let's just say every customer that they gathered equals to about contribute, let's just say, how much are you willing to pay for Trump's platform per month? Let's just say, oh, per year. Let's just say it's like a, you know, it's like a daily wire. Let's just say it contributed they ask you for $1. They ask you $1 a month to listen to this social media, whatever platform, to do whatever they do. They can either be like YouTube videos or their format videos or some sort of news agencies or just Trump pop up and talk about fake news or whatever he does. Let's just say it will cost you $10 per year. Okay, it will cost you $10 per year. Because we're doing everything annualized, then this will give you about $675 million in revenue. And we're just doing everything in a revenue basis. We're not assuming, we're also like assuming, let's just say, you know, when about 68 million people start watching Trump or watching this or using this social media platform, eventually somehow it's going to reach 100 million. And we're doing a year by year sort of, you know, growth sort of thing. And by the end of, I don't know, by the end of, let's just say 2023, the platform is built and it grows like 2x, so it have 200 million people, active users who are active, that actively go on the platform, chat or whatever, right? Because eventually, because, you know, Trump and everyone who is invested in this stock, I mean, dude, there are two sides of the story. You have investors who are investing in the stock because they think, you know, they're speculator or people actually believe in the cause. The whole cause thing is the purpose of an alternative, you know, social media, social platform is for free speech. Because a lot of people online are arguing that, you know, the Democrats or the Democratic Party or the liberal parts are censoring the internet. You know, you cannot say this, you cannot say that, blah, blah, blah. And again, these are not my personal opinions. I'm just paraphrasing the side of the story for you. So basically, if you are a purpose investor, or we call them basically like cause investors. Cause investors is like, you know, I believe. So basically what does it mean is it's like, okay, let's just say you believe in a cause, okay? That's like the greatest reason to invest in anything. Then go ahead. Like if you believe in cause, it's buy, right? It's a buy no matter what. Because if you believe in cause, you will believe all of these projections, and that will sit its if you believe all of that, then it will just be pre-merger complete valuation at 670 million. And this stock, let's look at this. How many outstanding shares does this stock have, right? This stock have 30 million outstanding shares. So divided by 30 equals 2 point something, right? Let's just say almost equals to $23, okay? So this is actually the fair value market price for this SPAC. So if right now the stock is at $23, if you're a cause believer, you're a cause investor, purpose investor, go ahead. Because eventually, when there's gonna be, say, 500 million users going into, you know, believing this platform or whatever and start using it, then what you're gonna see is you will see this probably going like 5x or whatever, and then eventually it will go to the value of 23. 23 times, you know, 5 equals to $115. So 115 is achievable at least in about, let's just say 4 years, in 4 years. And if we go back and look at, you know, right now the price, right now is at 94. So if you are just someone who just want to put your money in there and just don't worry about it and you believe the cost, go ahead. When it reaches 90 bucks, you know, do whatever you want and just invest in that. Because in 4 years, if there actually gonna be people who wanna, you know, view those contents, use the platform, then it probably is gonna worth 115 bucks or 120 bucks in 4 years, okay? But if you're someone like me who are speculators, then just like what I said in my Patreon, in my Discord, I said 175 start shorting, right? Too bad we cannot buy options to short because not a market maker is willing to take this much of risk right now. And truth to be told, if this stock actually have options, you can trade options, it will never reach 175. The maximum it will reach is probably about 40 bucks. Because the implied option leverage will stop a a fast FOMO train, but it also would start a fast FOMO train, if that makes sense. If you guys want me to explain more about that kind of stuff, why a option leverage stock is actually a safer option, no pun intended, to invest in a stock that only have physical shares, I can also post a video talk about that. But again, right now what you guys want to know is, guys, should we buy it right now? Our rating right now is, except when you are a faith investor, cause investor, or purpose investor, whatever you call that, number 12 is the most important point. If you are just one of those people who are like, hey, DD, what should I do with this, right? Like, should I buy? Or should I buy or sell? I mean, if you don't have anything, why wouldn't you sell, right? And again, if you bought it at 10 bucks at 160, why wouldn't you sell it, right? Historically speaking, there's only 0.001% chance for a stock to increase about 1,000% in 2 days. Let's just drag it out for, like, I don't know, a trading week. It's almost impossible. This is one of those black swan events that is one of a lifetime, okay? Maybe two of a lifetime, because it happened in 2019 before. So, again, we're not financial advisors. We do not get financial advices. Personally, and for shits and giggles only, we believe that this is overvalued. And we believe it will drop down to $23. Well, not this quick though. So first of all, what's gonna go is, it's probably gonna go down to about, you will see $90. You have a true resistance line here, and then people are not willing to let go at about like 70 bucks ish. So those are the major resistance line. But what is interesting about those meme stocks is resistances are actually futile, because that what usually happens in, it's very congruent in AVMC, in any of those SPAC, very interesting meme stock, is whenever you have anything that's a little bit not positive, you will have a gap. You'll have a gap down motion. You'll have a gap down motion in the pre-market, and then when the market opens, when you really think the true resistance at 90 or 75, in this case it's 70, it will probably already drop down that line when 6:30 on the West Coast and 9:30 on the East Coast. It will probably already drop down that point, and it will probably like start it out with like 69.99. And it will go down a downward train, and then go down by about like 15%, and then people start FOMO back in again, and we'll just go back up, and it will just go through a very interesting volatility range, and eventually we'll go back down to where it should be at, which is around like 30 bucks to 23 bucks. But it takes time. Usually what happens according to data is, if you see this price movement, the second day it will probably close at here, and then the fourth day will probably close at here. But again, a lot of people still just got information about the stock, and they're like, oh my god, we need to buy some, because you're FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. So if they're FOMOing, then you will see tomorrow's on volume and everything gets a little bit stagnant, so it will probably go like this, right? And then it would probably, this entire thing will probably just start trading flat at like 90 or 85 bucks over here. That's my prediction. But honestly, if you can buy puts at 175, no matter how expensive the put is, you just buy a, I don't know, 170 put or like a 160 put, and just wait it out. You can wait it out for a month, and you probably will make, I don't know how they're gonna price it. If they actually start trading options, this stock might be actually interesting. You can actually do some iron butterfly stuff going on for like basically every day, and you can do a weekly condor. Okay, but without getting into too much of the options, I just want to say, guys, be careful. If you really want to FOMO this, very, very small position, you might get your head like literally broke, because I really think 175 is a extreme overvalue, and I honestly think $100 is also extreme overvalue, because we're talking about in the billions, and this company doesn't really have anything in assets yet, and doesn't have anything, remote promising other than Trump is working on it. So, I mean, talking about being realistic, But we can also be very hopeful, right? I mean, again, meme stock doesn't have any logic, right? Nobody would know that the true value of GameStop. That's why a lot of people still holding back at 200, or AMC, a lot of people holding back at 40, right? And is it gonna go back up to 200? Most likely. Is it going go back to 40? Most likely. So for this stock, is it gonna go back up to $100? Yeah, if there's enough volume, absolutely. But if people start dumping, then you will see a quick downward movement to, I don't know, let's just say, usually what happens is something increased by 100% on a stock exchange, but technically it's increased like over 100%, like 1,000% in 2 days. It probably will go down by 50% in like a week. So in a week, it should be probably resting around $50 if there's no more news coming out. Yeah, who's ultimately making money? Trump is not the one who's ultimately making money. The pipe investors got their money locked, right? Those people are locked. It's actually the hedge funds and Barkley, those people who bought warranties and they can execute those. All right, see you guys in the upside. I think this is it for this video. I honestly think there are way more interesting and more profitable, not really more profitable, but safer options to help you reach a better result, or help you reach, I don't know, a daily 5 or 6% return. And if you trade options, that will give you like about 20% return. I think that's safer in terms of investment. And this thing is just way too volatile, and hey, DD is very iffy about it. I might just buy like, I don't know, one share when at 70 and see where it goes. And if you can actually start trading options, I might look at the option chain and make some decisions accordingly. But right now, my shits and giggles advice or personal opinion is stay away from it. See you guys on the upside.